Welcome everybody, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. Definitely have some Metatron messages today, so stay with me. I'm going to just clear a little bit. It's April 24th, 2020. The 24 is the Queen of Wands, and the day adds up to the 32, which is a 5. It's also the Journey card of the 6 of Wands. So we have the Queen of Wands and the 6 of Wands. Again, a lot of Wands, fire energy, but very creative energy and very positive with the 6 of Wands. It's all about good news coming in, success, leading the way. And the 32 is also a 5 of expansion. It can be conflict, but also can be games. Depends on your perspective. But again, it is the expansion energy of the journey, the 32. And the 24 is a 6 of love, family, and community. Very creative and physical, desire-oriented movement. Okay. I'm going to pull you an energy card as we start. Take a deep breath, you guys. I'm getting tons of downloads now with these union reads, so stick with me. All right, so from my energy deck, and I'm going to ask Metatron. Metatron, what is the message you want everyone to understand today? Strategy, the first, and journaling is coming up here, which is what I do when I do my messages. So journaling, and you see the feather there. This is Metatron just sending you a feather, right? 21 is the world. That's also in the read today. So strategy, some other cards want to come out here. The bottom of the deck is second chakra, Archangel Ariel, which is the sacral chakra. So you see it's more yellow in this card. So it's more about and that was coming up in the read today too. It's more about the solar plexus to the sacral as opposed to the sacral to the root. All right, it's more yellow to orange. So notice that makes a difference. And 36, that is also a major number in this read today. 36 is the 10 of Wands, the Atlas energy of the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Main theme today. The other cards that came out here is Door to Spirit, 32, which we just had. The Journey, because that's the day adds up to 32 today. We have Yin Yang, which is that perfect balance between masculine and feminine, and the 22, the Fool's Journey. That is the Fool in the Numerology book. The Divine Triangle. The Divine Triangle is definitely part of the read today as well. So you see how clear and pure that energy is coming in through the crown. Like the information I brought up the other day, the different avenues that the different lights come into us. I was getting the pure white light coming in through the crown. So Door to Spirit is confirming that there. And then the 22 of the Yin Yang. And then this came out upside down. I don't usually shuffle these ups and down, but I haven't corrected the deck. I shuffled them that way, obviously, by accident. But so we have the crown reversed, the 7th chakra Archangel, because that's another message, the reason why it was reversed, which was perfect, because we're talking about bringing the root up into the crown today. And 41 is the Ace of Cups, self-love, spiritual love, and new love, okay? And you see how much more pink and purple this card is from the yellow of the solar plexus energy that we're focusing on today. It's like the lower solar plexus energy. There's a little bit of orange there, but not much, okay? So we got green too, always of the heart. It's always heart-based. And then the pink for lots of compassion. It's a very pink, purple, violet-y energy, right? And that very high energy of the crown. But this is reversed because we're explaining in the read today that, how do you get violet? Well, you need to bring red up from the root, all right? So that comes into the blue, which creates the indigo and the violet at the third eye in the crown, okay? So great way to start this message, all right? So we have the journaling. The journaling, allow the energy to come into you, balance your masculine and feminine, dance back and forth, be the Fool with that open heart and a leap of faith. And it's not always about the crown, okay? You have to use all of the colors in the rainbow. You notice there's a little bit of yellows and purples and pinks and lots of different energies, and the whites in her. This is very upper chakra energy there. All right, so let's start with that. This is the union energy. For those of you not familiar with my read, we have the 3D, 4D, 5D at the top across. Down is the feminine this side, the divine masculine here, and then the bridge between is here. This is the feminine energy leading into the read, which is the underlying energies. The masculine energy leads out from the read, 3 cards on each side. And then I've already pulled the bottom card, which is the Tower, so you could see it upright. And then the summary card is the Seven of Orbs, which you can see in this deck, the SIRIAN and STARSEED deck. It's very much about passing downloads, okay? So, it was very cool today. I'm always amazed at what's coming up now. Wow, it's really intense, much more than I told you, this time of year, the upgrades that we get to our abilities is major in the spring. So I woke up I didn't go to sleep that late, but I didn't get a whole lot of sleep the couple nights prior because I had stayed up all night that one night. So I didn't wake up till 11:01 today, which I can never do. Usually, even if I need the sleep, I still wake up by 7 or 8 o'clock. So I woke up at 11:01, and then I was still sleepy. It's funny because my clock and my iPad are 2 different times, and they're 2 minutes apart, so it's always the space between. So we had 11:01 and 11:03, and then the space between being 11:02, which is the 1, 2, 3 jump, which was coming up the past couple days, and 2 also the feminine energy. And then I woke up again at 11:11, and it was 11:13 on the clock. All right, so 11:11 was on my iPad, so that the universal time, and 11:13 came up. So 11:12 is between, and so you have 11:12:13 here. And that was significant in the read as well. So we'll get to that. So then I got up at 11:42, which was 11:44 on the clock, which my soul number is an 11. It's 3811. My life lesson number is 44:8, so that was significant for me. And the space between is the 43, which definitely comes up in our read again today. Where was I just seeing 43? Oh, I think I was just seeing it from one of the reads from yesterday, too. And 43 is my sun's soul number. 43 is the 3 of Cups. So the 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, and then 4 of Cups, which is that grounding and integrating and mastering of receiving love for the twins. And if you haven't seen the Pleiadian message for Braca, she had Braca and Pam Gregory on her channel today. So if you haven't seen Braca with her Pleiadian read, check it out. It was a really good one today. Let's see. So this union read was done at 12:21 to 22. 12 is the hangman, 21 is the completion of the cycle of the world. And we just had that yin-yang, which is very much that world energy. And then the 22, which we also just had. 21 to the 22 is going from the end of the cycle into the new cycle, which is another theme that's ongoing in this read today. See, a lot came up. And you notice also 12:21 to 22 is all 1s and 2s, the masculine and the feminine. It's literally one, the way I wrote it is literally 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. All right, and then actually 144 came up in the read today as well. So here we go. The union read, we have the underlying energy of the Tower, like I said, is over here, which is the top of the pile. I usually leave it there. And then the summary card I put over in this corner. So the underlying energy of the Tower, the center of the read here is the shadow. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this deck, I'll show you the shadow. So that's the shadow. You can see it's got like a spider web. And it's got some shadows there in there too, but it seems that there's a third energy in here as well. There's a lot of little stuff in this deck that I have used it so many times. There's still stuff I haven't noticed before. It's so cool. Yeah, but there's two people here with their shadows. This looks like a masculine and a feminine, and then their shadows within the web. But actually today when I was looking at it, I actually saw 2 people sitting at a table with mediation. So that's kind of cool. All right, so the shadow is the central energy today. So that's not anything negative at all. The way it was coming up was amazing. So the Tower is the underlying energy, and then the shadow coming up. And I want to note that this card right here underneath the Tower is the Knight of Cups, which came up in yesterday's read. So with the Tower, sudden web we weave, and reaching far and wide, hands across the water, heads above the sky. Shadow puppets come to life. They come to the table to mediate discussions, transmute the residual, quote unquote, after the storm. So just like I always say, when you rev the engine, you're blowing off that last little crap that's left in there that doesn't need to be there. It's that same kind of feeling. The underlying divine feminine coming into this read, we have here is the 4 of Swords. That's that meditation card. It's just someone sitting on the beach thinking. And then we have the 9 of Swords here, but you don't see the person here, okay, which is good. And then we have the Seeker of Orbs, which is the Page of Swords for the feminine. So relaxing And actually in that Pleiadian message that was given, the Pleiadians came through as, very much focusing on relax, take things in a relaxed way. Don't get, when everything comes in, relax into everything was one of the messages they were bringing. So sit in salt water on the beach, meditate, or just allow your mind to wander, bubble up. 3, 2, 1, jump. And then Jimmy jump, was coming up yesterday about my brother, because that was what we called him when he was little, or my mother did anyway. And then the third energy idea streams are coming in. So we have the 3, 2, 1. The 3 was coming up as idea streams coming in, so the downloads. The 2 is the written form, and then the 1 is the brought to light. So it's saying for everything that comes in, 2 may receive form and 1 may be brought to light. So it's okay if you don't get everything. That's the process. Just like when I learn things from my downloads, they teach me something one week so that the next week I'll understand, and then I can get another download putting the 2 pieces together, and then I understand what they're talking about. So rest, quiet, meditation, relaxation, suffering in silence, and spreading the word. And that suffering in silence can be being stressed out. It could be not sleeping well. It can be crying, purging, whatever you're dealing with, okay? Headaches, whatever. But spreading the word, the light, the message. In the 3D is the Alchemy card, the Knight of Wands, and the 7 of Cups down here, okay? So this is the feminine, this is the masculine, this is the bridge between. So the Divine Feminine with patience in the Alchemy card, receiving an Emmy for alchemization. The Divine Masculine taking the 7 steps by 2s, then 3s, then 4s, speeding up very quickly on the right track. 33 to 34 steps, which was really cool because Jesus' age there's debates about it, whether he was 33 or 34 when he died. So 33 to 34 was coming up, and notice there's 6 and 7. 33 is a 6, 34 is a 7, which is very prevalent in the read today, and there was a reason for this. And also 67 is the Knight of Pentacles, which came up for me today. So when I do the daily read, in numerology, you have a yearly number, a monthly number, and a daily number. So I always write mine at the top, my personal ones. And I'm in my 39 year, so it's my 43 month and my 67 day today. So that 67 was significant for, my day, but they were paralleling that to the message coming in. So they always find a way to send you these messages. All right, so the masculine taking 7 steps by 2s, then 3s, then 4s, and speeding up very quickly. I told you there's a quickening in this portal for the masculine. On the right track, 33 to 34 steps, Jesus' age, all positive things on the way. Bridge via the Knight of Wands with a gentle flame, again, focusing on the solar plexus, not red. Yellow, not red. Following solar plexus and confidence, shining your light, slightly orange instead. All right, and I wrote this before I pulled those cards for you. So this is totally separate, but giving the same message. And you notice, most flames have a lot more red and orange in them, like this one. This is much more yellow, even though it's a flame card, so it's confirming that. So in the 4D, we have the 6 of Wands, the Shadow, and the Starseed. The 6 of Wands, the Shadow, and then the Starseed for the masculine. The Divine Feminine with good news at the helm, leading the way on the journey, 1 to 5 others. So you see in the 6 of Flames card, this is the twin leading the others, okay? But it wasn't just others in general today. I'm getting a specific pod or the monad structure. So the 1 helm to the 5. So it's coming up as like the 1 twin for every 5 soulmates. And there's a whole parallel to the twins as well that's coming up. So the 1 to 5, 1 at the helm with 5 others, which then relates to the 15 of the shadow energy again too, because that's the devil, the 15. So I was getting my triangle with the 6 sets of twins inside of it, the Trinity pod, I'm calling it, 6 twins, and then I was getting masculine and feminine. I wrote down M-F, which is Monday to Friday, so they're paralleling the masculine to the feminine, of the masculine being Monday and the feminine Friday, which was kind of funny here. And then I went online to process some of the monad versus pod stuff, and the headliner was Cardinals boast elite setup for an at-home draft. All right, so cardinal signs for you guys was coming up, as well as all the work we're doing at home, right? To do a home draft, so do some writing, journaling, okay? To practice getting your downloads. So 1248, this was that message, and that's the Hangman and the 48 of walking away and within. So I looked up monad versus pod to see the different perspectives of the different definitions depending on what field of study it is. And so the monad actually comes from the Greek unit, the word for that was manas, so M-A-N-A-S. An individual elementary substance that reflects the order of the world and materials, properties derived, and this was initially from the Pythagoreans, they were the first to use this, as the name of the beginning number of a series from which all other numbers are derived. So pod was coming up for me as well. So that first definition was from Britannica, and then from medium.com, the pod was coming up as unit and clusters, or a unit of replication. And then under Blavatsky's theosophy.com, the monad, or in other words, the ultimate unit, quote unquote, equals the conjunction of the two highest principles of the inner spiritual constitution of the human, being namely Atma and Buddhi, which are usually termed the seventh and sixth principles of man. All right, so the seventh principle is higher self or spirit, and the sixth principle is the soul or the vehicle, right, to come into human form. The manas, which is the fifth, is the mind. And then the next high, that's also considered the next highest principle, and which is our reincarnating ego, our permanent individuality. The mind entity or human soul, the mystery of the mind, and the first activated in animal man, quote unquote, in the latter part of the third root race, the Lemurian epoch, has its own I, and Atma Buddhi its monad. Okay, so that they're saying that Lemuria was the first time the animal human became the higher mind. All right, so that 5D human. So in the 1 to 7 is 4, and you notice there's 7. So 4 is the bridge between, just like you talk about in the 4 chakra system. The heart is the bridge, just like the 4D is the bridge from the 3D to the 5D. The 4 is the bridge. So that's important because it parallels some more new information here. So in the 1 through 7, the 1 is the physical body. You can look up the names if you'd like to. There's Stula Sharira and Linga Sharira are the first two. So the physical body and the astral body of the human. The third is the prana, or the life energy, the vitality. The fourth is the kama, or the animal soul, or kama, I'm not sure how they pronounce it, which is desire. And then we go on to the 5, 6, 7, which is the mind, the soul vehicle, and then the spirit. So basically, you know, the God, the Mother, Father, and the Holy Spirit energies. It's paralleling that energy. So the top 3, the bridge is the 4, and then the lower 3, just like the chakra system. So the 4 being the personality, or excuse me, the 4 is the midpoint or the pivot to the 5 personality, or from the 5 to the lower energies. So it's just like where the 4D bridge is the pivot from the 3D to the 5D, okay? So this is important because there's a pattern here. Okay, so this brought up the monad and the 6 to 7 of the principles of man. And so at 121 to 122, I turn the page. So here we have all 1s and 2s again. And the 4D. So now we have the 4D of the feminine and the masculine, okay? Here's the 4D. We're continuing on. 6 of Wands, the shadow, and the starseed of the masculine, where this huge download is just falling into this flower, which is like the crown, right? The lotus. So the divine feminine at the helm with good news, leading the way on the journey. The divine masculine starseed planting his seed, receiving a big download in a lush environment, which grows very quickly. The mother lode I was getting. 6 to 7 lights, which were in the card that I was seeing, or it wasn't clear whether it was 6 or 7 when I first looked. 6 to 7 lights or orbs around the lotus crown, and a big 8th one, that big download, the one coming in, the mother lode, the 8, the dance of all dances. The infinity, an unending link with another reflection, right? Like the number 8, it reflects with its exact opposite, right? At 0 point, which if you literally translate that under my coding, the 0 is the 0, the O of the human embodiment of source, and then the point, which you abbreviate PT, is physical therapy. So we have the human embodiment of source, or in other words, physical therapy. We've been dancing at 6 to 7, and now we go to 8, bringing in the 5D. I have often told you before that 44 represents the 3D and 8 represents the same energy in the 5D. So we're going from the dancing at the 6 to the 7, now going to the 8, and we're talking about dimensions here, and bringing in the 5D, which is flanked by 4 and 6, and then the 7, 8, 9 of the 5D. So in paralleling that pattern, whereas 1, 2, 3 is the 3D, 4, 5, 6 is the 4D, 7, 8, 9 is the 5D, 10, 11, 12 is the 6D when we're dealing in numbers, okay? But then there's another pattern within the 1D, 2D, 3D, aside from the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is the 3, 6, 9, 12 that we're talking about, and so on, because the dimensions all go higher than that, where 3D is duality, 4D is kindness, 5D is authenticity, and 6D is wisdom as a teacher, whereas then 7D is completely observation. Because, you know, at one point you can no longer see the dimension when you're in the 3D. But what comes up here is very important, because what you realize is once you become mostly 5D, that's no longer true, because now you can see above the dimensions that you used to be able to see in 3D, and so on. So this is how we grow in Ascension. What we're limited to now then resits. It's like playing a pinball game. You pass that level, now you can go on to the next level. So like I said, we have the 1, we're just paralleling the 1 through 5D, right, which we're all focused on now. So the 3D is the 1, 2, 3, the 4D is the 4, 5, 6, and then the next group would be the 7, 8, 9 in the dimensions, right? So we're not actually going, it's not actually a section to 3D, 4D, 5D. The section is the 1 to 3D. The 3D is the end of that level. The 4D is the bridge to the next level. So 4, 5, and 6D are the next level, but 4 is the bridge, just like 1 was the bridge coming in initially, right, to lower life. And then the 5D is, or excuse me, the 7 is then the bridge to the next level, which we're not at yet. So 1, 4, and 7 are the bridges to the next group. After 6D, there's no 3D visualization, but of course when you're up to 5D, you can visualize above 6D, so it's not an issue anymore. That's when you can start seeing ETs more easily. So, and then we're talking, this is dimension, because density is different. We're still at the beginning of the 4th density. We're not near the 5th density, okay? And in density, that's where 5th density is the ultimate wisdom, but I believe it was 6th density, then you don't participate in life at all, like you're purely observer. I'll have to look back at that again, but you can look that stuff up as well. But in a 3D, you may not be able to see 7 or 8D, but once you're elevated into those dimensions, you can see higher. So there's many twins and other starseeds who, of course, can see above the 5th dimension because they're already at a higher level in a lot of their moments, not in every moment, because you can't be in 3D and not be some 3D moments, okay? So the bridge by shadow aspect in this reed, because the shadow is in the center of the reed. So bridge by shadow aspect in referencing the triangle, because the monad is the Trinity, basically, right? The Mother, Father, and Spirit. And the triangle, not actually anything in the triangle, but the triangle itself is the monad, right? That's the triangle. But it's actually in facing the human, it's an upside down triangle, because we have the Mother, Father at the top, and then the third energy is what connects the Mother, Father to the human realm. So then our triangles are upright because we're trying to reach up, and they're reaching down to connect with us, right? So the monad is actually the triangle. So it doesn't matter what's in the triangle as long as it's within the same pattern, because it's all part of the one. So I want to show you this. I made some drawings just to make it a little bit more clear. Sorry, it's not very dark. But so you see, this would be the monad triangle, because that's the one of everyone in the universe. Now you can have a human monad like this, which is like a twin group of like one twin at the helm and two other twins in their group. Or you can have the twin with their soulmates, because the soulmates don't, you don't visualize as much light from them as you would at the peak, which is the twin energy. So there's different sets of monads here. And here is representing the one twin per 5 other soulmate groups. And this is also representing twin groups. Not that there's a hierarchy here, but I was getting a parallel between 3 twins that come together, because in the Divine Numerology book, which I wasn't thinking of when I got this download, but it does parallel to that, the squares on the Divine Triangle are youth plus power equals wisdom. So there are like 3 twin groups referencing youth, power, and wisdom, and none is one better than the other, because you can't have anything without all 3. Okay, so the twin groupings are coming together like that. So you may notice that you have 2 twin friends that you mostly associate with. They may be associated with your tripod there of youth, power, and wisdom. And then you may have certain soulmate groups here as well that was coming up. So we speed up from the 1, 2, 3D. Remember, I parallel that with the 44. But once we go to 5D, it's no longer 44. It's the 8, and then the 88, which becomes the infinity. So the 8. That's the 4, 5D. 4, 5, 6D energy is the 8 and the 88 and then the infinity. And then as we go to the next group, as you can see here, right? So we have the 1, 2, 3D here, speeding up from 44 to the 8s in the 4, 5, 6 group, which then the infinity becomes the 0, because it becomes so fast that doesn't need to reflect. It's just all reflected in 1. It's so fast. So that's the 7, 8, 9D, 0 point. And again, we have the human embodiment of physical therapy. Okay? So here I'm just showing you in bigger in writing so you can visualize it. It makes it easier to understand. The 3D is 1, 2, 3, 4D, 5D, 6D. And then it goes on with the 7D, 8D, 9D, 10D, etc. And you notice that the 13D ends in 33, which is the Christ vibration. Then the 34 would be the bridge going into the next grouping. Okay, but you notice this is an ending, because it's the 13, it's the portal. And that ends at 33, which is the Christ vibration. The faster you vibrate, the more you can visualize. So the collective 2D to 3D can see basically 4D, 5D, 6D. The twins can see 45 who are in 4D, 5D, or 5D, 6D from the time you started your journey. You were probably in this energy a lot already. You can see the 7, 8, and 9D and so on. And this is just an estimate. It's not exact. But there are other twin groups who can see much higher than that. And this is just an example, but other twins and starseeds can see higher than that as well. So just an idea of what the energy was coming through. So let's see where I was. Okay. So it's like the 1, the 4, and the 7 are the bridges to the next group. So we bridge by shadow aspect. By bringing, it's like bringing either you and your twin with a mediator together, because there's always a third participating. So someone may bring you together, or it's literally coming together with 2 other twins, whether it's masculine or feminine, it just doesn't matter. You know, friends you hang out with. There may be a calling together of a group of 3. 2 twins with a third, or 2 twin friends, or 3 twin friends altogether as the 3. The Knight of Wands was significant coming up here as the coming together. This Knight of Wands energy here, whether it's a person or just an action. And again, it comes from the solar plexus as opposed to the sacral or lower energies. All right, so it's like considered a pod coming together in this little group. So the 5D here for the masculine and feminine is the 5 of Swords, the bridge being the 6 of Swords, which is just a dolphin swimming in the ocean, but also Metatron's cube is floating out there in the ocean on this card. And then we have the Hangman over here, who's just hanging there in a diamond with a right knee block there, which has to do with anger issues. So in the 5D, the Divine Feminine is in the Divine Masculine, frog to prince energy at peak altitude, juggling, and the Divine Masculine hanging low with right knee clearing in diamond or crystal energies dealing with anger blocks, meditating, seeing new perspectives, rejuvenating. The bridge in the 5D here for the masculine and the feminine is by the 6 of Swords, the ocean, dolphins, dolphin sounds. So listening to dolphins today might be a great idea. And focusing on the fin of the dolphin, curved, which identifies him as a dolphin, which makes him or her a very social animal, or connected, in other words, as opposed to the porpoise, or the purpose. They're much more serious, the porpoise. So it's talking about being more social, because we're socially deprived right now. And then the fish, which is referencing the Jesus connection, and then Metatron's cube was coming up. So from Metatron's cube, from crystallinks.com, containment circle or creation circle was coming up. They would use it in that kind of energy. And then from learnreligions.com, it contains every shape that exists, all physical matter, which also equals platonic solids, because Plato was the one who linked the heaven and the earth in that sense together with Metatron's cube. So this was very interesting, because when I looked at Metatron's cube, I was just drawing a basic drawing because I was guided to do so. And then I was guided to pivot it a 12th turn, because they're on top of each other as opposed to between. And when you draw a flower, you usually draw the next row of circles or petals in between the first level, but not in the Metatron's cube. It's straight. So Spirit was guiding me to change that, just that 12th pivot in between the two circles, instead of right on in alignment with each circle, if you know what I'm talking about. I think I'd show you here. All right, so this is the Metatron's cube, basically. So I just pivoted these outer circles. Instead of being right in line with this on top of it, it's to the side in between these, like you would draw a flower when you're drawing petals. So I was guided to do that, and then as I did, I was guided to turn and look at my drawing that I did. I've showed this to you before, but I did this in junior high school, and it's literally that pivot of a 12th. Okay, so I'm going to play with that a little bit more to see what that's referencing for me. But I was looking at my picture more closely today, and it just amazes me all the different symbolism that's in there that has to do with our journey. Because it literally has the spider web too that we're talking about today, the shadow in the middle. And it has the different numbers, because the projections have a square on them, which is the 4, and then there's 5 stripes in those, and then there's the 6 star, and then there's the 8 flower, and it just goes on. It's very cool. I was looking. So, you know, even your own stuff, you can keep looking back at it and finding new things in it. All right, so Metatron's cube was definitely coming up here. Take a deep breath. So at 232, which is High Priestess, and 32 is again, the 6 of Wands, the Journeyman, and the High Priestess. In the Divine Feminine, the Divine Feminine column here, right? So we're referencing the 3 cards up, is Alchemy of the 3D, which is Patience, to lead in the 4D, and then grow and expand and transform in the 5D. Rise way above in the high-mindedness. So again, mind is coming up here as a higher mind, where you never worry what others are thinking or doing. It's not lonely at the top of Everest if you are doing what you love to do. The hours pass as though time doesn't exist. Faceless, only juggling energy and green, love, and healing. The Emerald Order, as the Divine Masculine brings in the Royal Purple in 4D to match the lush green already on this planet. So the Divine Masculine is busy doing work that we don't understand, because it's, you know, we're coming from 2 sides of the same coin. He's doing different work than we are. So the Divine Masculine's column is the 7 steps in the 3D to heaven, to the number 8, the next level in the game, leveling up to even out the playing field, arriving in lush jungle land, fern, flowers, the lotus, and one, unity consciousness. To the 5D, the red root. How do you think the blue becomes purple at the 3rd eye and crown? The royalty. Not avoidance of color, but alchemization, grounding and integrating of all colors into oneness. All colors of the spectrum, not separate, all encompassing. So it's not about bypassing the root chakra, that the colors are always incorporated into all, because you can't take out the lower colors because you can't get purple without red. It's all incorporated. It's just like we talk about going through our obstacles in the journey. You can't avoid them and go around them. You have to go through them to get to the other side. Integrating the root into the crown, leveling up the playing field. So the tower is the underlying energy, the shadow is the middle energy, and then we end on the Seven of Swords, or orbs. So I also do a parallel between the first card of the feminine to the masculine and so on, the middle card to here, and then the third card to here. So passing the light, the fire into the darkness and into passing the light, the assembly line process of creating the spark, where the inspiration comes from, transmuting nickel into gold, humans into unity consciousness, the alchemical process of ascension. 33 floors, which is 33/6, 33 floors up in the elevator, or elevated is the way they wrote it. 33 floors up in the elevated, which then references back to the feminine in 5D, where she's on Mount Everest, basically. Expanding into 34, which is a 7, there's that 6-7 reference again, the arrows of love, the Empress and the Emperor. Expanding then to the 35, which is an 8, of the Empress and the Hierophant, greased lightning. And then 36, which is the 9, the 369 we referenced of the dimensions and the dimensional groups, the 369, the Empress and the Lovers, which then become the 9 of the Hermit. And then finally to the 37, which is the King of Cups, that unconditional love, which is the number 10, which is the place of enlightenment. The Empress is represented as Gaia here, in her vehicle, the chariot, destined to number 10, or 37, a 12th of a turn for the better. However, the cycle end is 21, right? Because that's the world. Is only that's the only one that's divisible by 3 and 7, which is 37, the King of Cups, the unconditional love. A 1, the beginning again. So wait, back it up a step. Light energy loops back, for it's at 36, not 37, at the 369, 36/9, or the 10 of Wands, the Atlas, the weight of the world upon your shoulders, where we carry that weight of the world on our shoulders, learning not to feel it, but experience the moment, the back pedal that creates the vacuum to propulsion of inspiration. 36 is on the square. The contrast, right? Because 36 is a difficult energy. It's the 10 of Wands. So in paralleling it to astrology, and the stars and the squares and the trines and all that kind of stuff, the square is when you have a challenging moment. So here 36 is coming up as the square because it's the 10 of Wands, the contrast, which is necessary for our growth, right? So the square of 36 is 36, 36, 36, 36, right? Because 4 is the square, which then equals the 72 by 2s of the 144, marching to their ascension, 0 point. The 144, or 1 plus 44, 8, then also translates to 1 instead of 44, 8, which is the moon, which is /9, like the 369. The unity in expanding from the 3D to the 5D and up. We all have to start somewhere. Over the rainbow, bridge, way up high, a land I dreamed of once in a lullaby, away above the chimney tops, which we just talked about chimneys the other day. That's where you'll find me, and that was at 301, which is the Empress and the Magician. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, but they need a little red, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. The bridge between the masculine and the feminine at 303 here, the Empress and the Empress, the Knight of Wands, looks deeply into your eyes, the hypnotist who takes you to the dark side, another realm, a cave underwater perhaps, where you come out the other side, swimming with the dolphins, by Metatron's cube, in the coral reef you once sailed to. All right, so there was a code in that message just now, and you know what that was? So when you're going out into the coral reef off of the Florida coast, you arrive at the Bermuda Triangle, which was referencing Metatron's cube. So literally the triangle of Bermuda is one triangle within the Metatron's cube. But which one it is, that's what we have to learn. So that was a very cool message coming up. And then as I'm writing this down, I was listening to something as I was taking a break, and Metatron was coming up in what I was listening to as well. All right, so again, the Bermuda Triangle was coming up with referencing Metatron's cube, but to turn Metatron's cube a 12th of a turn, like they were showing me. So it's kind of interesting. I'm going to have to look that up and parallel that with the map to see what comes up with that. So 5D Connect to rise from the drama, suffering and silence, to reflection with the light, and the Page of Swords spreading the word to being love with heart open wide. So the outgoing message from the masculine here is rising from the ashes, the firewalker, the flame in hand, to tango with the hermit with the light, comparing lights and flames, show and tell, and the Page of Cups message of love, ending up at the summary card, the Seven of Swords, passing downloads while others take notice. Okay, so it's really cool seeing the masculine and feminine comparing their lights and their flames, which is bringing the color up from the red to the yellow. So it's just slightly tinged with orange. Very cool. So then the number that came up for the summary of this read was 51, which is the King of Swords, right? The higher mind. And the horizontal axes were adding up to 18, 6, and 27, which is the moon, the lovers, and the Ace of Wands. So at night, or with the moon, the lover's energy is coming up with the Ace of Wands, which is a new passion. And that can be towards the full moon as well. And then we have the vertical axes add up to the Nine of Cups, which is the Get Your Wish card, with the Justice of the Lovers, and then triple sevens, or the triple sevens can also be the Chariot picking up the Sovereign energy. So it's the Nine of Cups getting their wish, the Justice, which is also, we have Libra, Gemini, and Cancer energy here. Let's see. Yeah, Cancer, Gemini, Cancer again, Gemini. A lot of Gemini and Cancer right here, which is coming up. It's funny, right? Because Gemini and Cancer are next to each other. That makes sense. So it's telling you Gemini is the end of May to June, and then Cancer is June to July. So that time period is very important. Nine of Cups is Get Your Wish with the Justice of the Libra energy too here, and then the Lovers of the triple sevens, or like I said, the Chariot picks up the Sovereign. So it's very cool. All right, so we're getting 6 to 7. Oh my God, I wasn't even realizing that. It's the 6 to 7 again. All right, so June to July is very important. That's your message. I hope you were listening. All right, and then 37, 38, and 39 were coming up as the times at the end here, important too, which is the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. And of course, the Page of Cups is number 40, the 40 days and 40 nights, and all the Jesus' references. And yep, I think that's all I have there. So I'm going to pull another card from the energy deck to see what comes up again now, to see how our energy has shifted. Take a deep breath. It's just 43, 44. And I was bringing up 43 before. So 43, 44 is going now from the 7 to the 8 as opposed to the 6 to the 7. Because that's the message was about, going to the 8 now. So how cool is that? All right. What is the final message for this read? What do they need to take away? Metatron, please. Deceit, 25. This is the Knight of Wands right here in the 3D. The bridge between the masculine and the feminine, right, may be trying to deceive you, but that may not be in a false way. Someone might be trying to set you up and not tell you who they're setting you up with. But also, this is very red, talking about the red root, that there's deception in the root, right? Because it's that grounding energy. Someone trying to create a faulty foundation. So be careful about that energy. There's no fear here. This is about not deceiving yourself, okay? And trusting your own intuition. We also have 47 coming up here, the thinking woman, that you don't have to trust what other people say. You can think for yourself, right? She's got book in hand. The journaling coming up again, right? This is the intellectual, the 47 of the Seven of Cups, because she dreams. She doesn't go just based on her thoughts. She also incorporates her higher mind or her heart-based connection with her higher self. Okay, the thinking woman. She's connected to her dreams and her opportunities, her synchronicities, and heaven in their eyes, but in a very profound way. Okay, and then the third card that comes up here, look at that. That's beautiful. The 37, the third chakra, Archangel Chamuel, which we talked about him being the third chakra with the yellows. And you see how this is the red and we're staying away from that? But this may be that Knight of Wands between you, putting you together or keeping you apart. You see that? This is the feminine, this is the masculine energy. Beautiful. The 37 and the 47, the dreams and the synchronicities, and the King of Cups, the unconditional love. Being confident, that solar plexus energy. And she's very much heart-based here. He's very much solar plexus. And between the heart and the solar plexus is the connection to source, right? Because I was talking about that yesterday. There's a connection from your back. The root energy comes up from below. The yellow comes from the back, right? But this is the connection from the back that comes in for me, I was getting, is between the solar plexus and the heart. And between the solar plexus and the heart is this energy coming up, which should be gold, not red. So that's where the deception comes in. So just to know your energy and don't let others come between you. Very interesting. And that's the red is just also representing lower vibrational energies. And then we have the 3 at the bottom, which is blossoming abundance, all about Gaia. How perfect is that? I love this when they bring the cards up like that. So cool. All right, so we were talking about Gaia the whole time, and ascending. Gaia is ascending all of us because we're on her, and ascending like this. But this was actually first to get it out of the way. You don't believe that stuff. You know what you know. Let's see if I can get this right. All right, you know what you know. Get the crap out of the way. That's like I said, revving the engine to get the last of the little crap off, the drama, in order to bring the masculine and the feminine together. Very cool. Archangel Michael is below that, by the way. The blossoming abundance. There's your root chakra. And behind the head is the man holding the heart. Okay? Raising his vibration to the yellow. Okay? So he was processing, just like when you were crying in the red energy too. Okay? So it's no different. It's all the same. Okay, I loved that one. So please comment below. Please, if you know anyone who could benefit from the information, to share this video. Make sure you like and you subscribe and comment below. It's very helpful to my channel as well. If you would like any of my services, all my information is below, and my website, of course, is twinflames3344.com and at gmail.com if you need to reach out to me. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Rise and be loved, you guys. I love you. Bye.